for end-to-end. Okay, and then I have one method I have written which is prerequisite called test.before. And here I wrote a logic of but look at here one more thing. Now I told you, right, because my test case are dependent on each other, I don't want to use the page, because if I use page, they will understand individual. So there is another concept Playwright has built which is called browser. So when you put a cursor on the browser, it's clearly explained. Browser instance is shared between all the tests in the same one. And this makes the testing. So what I am going to do, but if I write a browser, you remember anyone who is using the Playwright. In Playwright, people generally use every test case, okay, always as a like call, page dot. That is how people write it. Now suddenly if I use the browser, everywhere I have to go and change my script. Okay. So what we are doing is, Playwright has given that option. So Playwright is saying a browser create a new page means new browser instance and assign to the variable called page, which I have declared as a global variable. And that page will continue. I don't have to change the code. Okay. Now I'll go to the test block. Next, create user. Here I'm not passing anything. No page, no browser, because same instance has to carry forward. See, same for update user, delete user, and finally I'm writing after all. Finally going on. Okay. Now let me run and just show you, and we'll see how this is going to behave. Seems like my system is getting hanged, guys. You guys continue that, I'll just rejoin. But I can see that it's getting slow. It is not. Let me rejoin and come back.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so the last code I hope everyone has executed. You have also seen that, right? And if you see here, perfect. You can see my code is working now. Okay, but see, any solution comes with other problem also, and Playwright has thought about that also. What if I have, see, because you are working in a project, and in a project you are not alone, right? Imagine the situation that within the project, we 5-6 members are working, and everyone tests are independent. They have written in an independent manner. It does not have a dependency, and they have a multiple test and they want to run parallelly. So they will go and change the worker to 3 or 4, whatever they want to say, right? But I don't want to run the test parallel because my test case are dependent. Understood? My team member want to run parallel, but I don't want to run parallel. And if any of my team member go and change it, suppose my team member change that here worker 3, and suppose I went and run my script. Okay, look at that. What kind of problem you are going to face? It is going to open at a time 3 browser instead, because each test case under that your script will be considered as a one worker, right? And because of that, what problem I'm going to face? Any guess? Will my script will pass or it will fail?
Fail.
Fail. Why it will fail?
Because login will not be done each and every time, logout will also not be done each and every time.
That is one thing. Another thing is my update order and delete order is depend upon the create order, right?
Correct. That's so.
So create is happening parallelly, the update is also happening parallelly, and delete is also happening, right? So create might work, but update and delete might not work because they have a dependency. See, login and logout will work because anyway they mention the before all and after all, right? And they are not considered as a method, they are considered as a prerequisite. Correct? So, how will I do now? Right guys, see here, because it is waiting for why this log? Because we have a time frame call, set it as a 80-second in the config file. So they'll wait for that log before throwing their request. Get it. See here. What is the message you are getting? See, this is the purpose of grouping. See, group means under the one group you have all the 3 tests. So this is called create, this is called update, this is called delete. Create has passed. But look at the update and delete. They have failed. And why it has failed? Because it was the pattern. Understood? Okay, now how will I solve the problem? If I go here and change that worker 3 to 1, this will impact my other team member. Because anything you mention in the config file, it is referred as a glue. It is applicable for everything. Then what should I do? And I can't wait. When they will finish, then I will do. I can't do like that, right? So Playwright has thought about that also. So what Playwright is saying that, see, if you have this situation where your team member want to run parallelly, but you want to run sequentially, because your test cases are dependent upon each other. So you can go to your test and at the describe block, because describe is your grouping, there itself you have option one more, they have added this they call as they have built lot of hooks called serial. So you tell that, hey please, serial means you are telling them please run them in the order. Don't run them parallel. Even though my team member has mentioned the worker 3, but serial will take the precedent. See? Last time you saw, I ran, it was running all parallel. Now you can see it is not running parallel. So by this way, I solved both of us problem. I don't want to disturb my team member, same time I don't want to get disturbed as well. You do not have such kind of concept guidance. Such kind of manipulation is absolutely next to impossible in Israel. You also have a keyword called parallel. You can also pass it from here, but anyway, it's always advisable. The default concept has been always given in the config file, and whatever you want to control, specific to your test case, then control it from the script. Okay, there is one more thing related to that. I just wanted to show because how Playwright has thought about. You remember, guys, we are giving the timeout here. How much time I have given? 80,000. For this kind of situation, what is the default time in Playwright?
30 seconds.
30 seconds, right? Why I have given the 80,000? What is the reason behind that? Anyone? Why did I increase the time?
Sometimes page takes time to load.
Maybe the load time is taking.
Yeah, because my application is taking longer time. Okay. Sometimes within the application you will face two types of situation. One is entire application is not slow. Application is all good. Only the module that you are working on is slow. Your team member does not want to increase the time, but you want to increase the time. Now how will you do? You can't go against the team. If anything you are increasing here, it is applicable for everyone. And your team member is not agreeing because they are saying if you increase the time here, even for the genuine failure, unnecessary it is going to wait for 80 seconds. Almost like a 1 minute 20 seconds. And team do not want to wait for such long. Unnecessary the time will increase. So team will say, but you want the time to increase because your application is slow, your module is slow. Okay? So question is, how will I handle this? I can't go against the majority. I have to go with majority. So majority do not want to increase the time, but I want to increase the time. And that is your problem. That is not a problem of the team. So Playwright has thought about that also. Playwright says, okay, fine, don't increase here. Go to your script. And under the describe block, you can add this statement, which is called test.setTime. Very similar like Selenium, we have an implicit wait. So I can set here. So I'm telling to my script, okay, please wait for the maximum is 12,000. Well, like 20,000 means 2 minutes, millisecond, almost. But only it is applicable for this script. It is not applicable for all. So I did this way. I solved my problem also, and I did not bother my team because it is advisable approach to only add the time in anything in the config file which is common for entire project, common for entire team. Let me know, guys, if you all are clear till here. Anyone, any questions, doubts, clarification? So if you guys are clear, you can understand one thing here. We have solved this problem. We have not mixed everything. But there is a one more problem still we are doing it, which is we are going repeating the code. Any idea what should be the solution for repeating the code? Even though still I am writing the login code everywhere, right? Any idea how I can solve this? Anyone?
You can write the common method and call it in other places.
Yes. Understood everyone? And let me tell you, this is nothing to do with Playwright or Selenium or anything. It is a concept. Anything which is common for your project, create a common function and reuse it. That is how you should. This is how most of the project, most of the people who uses any tools and technology, doesn't matter, they follow this approach. Okay? So even I am going to do it. Fine? What I am going to do is, yeah, what she said is a very valid point. Let's create a one common function. So everyone go to the UI test, right click, and let's create a one. Okay, class by name called base test.ts. I'm not going to give here the name called .specs.ts. You know why, guys? If someone asks you why you have not given .specs or others you are giving specs, what could be the reason?
We don't have any test here.
Yes, because this, yeah, whatever I am going to write here, this is not for executable purpose. Here only I am going to define the common function. That's why it is going to be the normal TypeScript class is what I am going to create. Okay, and here there is a, you will see the concept of programming concept will come in the picture. TypeScript will come, but I told you TypeScript is just 5%. 90% is or 95% is a programming concept. For example, I just wanted to cover a little more around that because most of the people are aware about the programming language. And doesn't matter, any programming language doesn't matter. What is the difference between TypeScript and Java, that I'll talk about that. But one thing that I wanted to convey, the programming concept is not going to change. Like example, just now you saw the local versus global value. This is not a concept of Java, right now. You would have heard about the concept called class, object, method. Method is also called as a guy's function. Right? Everyone is aware about that. TypeScript also follow that. The data types concept. JavaScript does not have a data types concept. This is the basic difference between your JavaScript versus TypeScript. But TypeScript has a data types concept. What I mean to say, in JavaScript, if I say n equal to 10, and I say n equal to 10, and I say n equal to this, all three will work, no problem. But I can't do this in Java or TypeScript. You know why? Because Java does not follow the data types. JavaScript does not follow the data types. JavaScript is decide based on the value. So this they will treat as an integer, this they will treat as a string, and this they will treat as a boolean. But you can't do these things in Java, TypeScript, C#, all those languages. There you have to mention like that, int, that is how you do in Java, right? String and boolean. Right? Similar concept in TypeScript. Rest everything is going to guys your remain same. When I say rest everything, class, object, method, function, suppose how to access method from class A to class B. Any idea? What are the approach we have in any programming language?
Inheriting the functions or method from the class A to class B.
Yeah,
Which
one
extends.
concept. Yeah, in one concept is inheritance. And for inheritance, we have a keyword called extends.
Extends.
That is a one way. What is another way? Not only one way you can do, there is a multiple. One is you can create an object of the class, correct? Remember, in Selenium, most of the people does this. What is that you are doing? You are creating an object of the web driver, and via that you are going to have. So this is another. Same concept in TypeScript. Okay. Then you would have heard about operators. Different types of operators. Arithmetic, comparison. What else? Logical. Assignment. Assignment like double equal to. Anyone knows what is the difference between double equal to and triple equal to in TypeScript and JavaScript?
Double equals to compare only the values. Triple equals it will check for value and the type, data type.
Correct. So if you use double equal to, this will also pass. 10 equal to 10. See, one is integer, one is a string. Technically in Java and TypeScript, or see in Java and other, they will not pass because both are. So if you want to do just, you are not too much concerned about data types, you are only concerned about the data, then go for this. But you are concerned about the data types along with data, then you have to say like this. Here if you write like this, it will fail because they cannot. So triple equal to is called strict validation of data and type. Double equal to does not do the strict. It just validate the data. They are not bothered about the data types. So this is your assignment operator, logical operator, comparison, arithmetic. All these are same. It's not like it's a concept of only Java. It is there in the TypeScript, C#, Python. Okay, you guys have heard about the concept called constructor. Anyone know what is constructor? What is constructor in Java? How do you explain? And why do we use constructor?
Initialize the value.
To initialize the value, right?
Yes.
But what is the benefit? How do you create a constructor in Java? Anyone?
By using class name.
Same, right? So suppose I say public class and I say orange. And when I'm going to create a method name, I'll be also giving the same public and then the class. So the class name and method name is same, that will behave like a constructor. And anything inside the constructor you will mention, it will get initialized as soon as you call the class. It is like, remember guys, sometimes someone will invite you, they'll send you the card, they'll mention that Saurav and family. No need to mention everyone. The moment you say Saurav and family, it is understood that As soon as Saurabh will come, entire family member will come along with it. That's what is the constructor is used. Okay? That is a concept is there in every program.
I have a doubt. So basically the constructor we define inside constructor that method or function that initialize those. Is that? Okay. It means every time we have to call
Class is
constructor.
No, class is called, constructor automatically get called. Because class name and constructor name is same, right now? See, जैसे कि Saurabh and everyone understand that. If I write a card on the card saying that Saurabh, what is that I am trying to convey the message? Only you are invited. Your object and method are not invited, correct? But if I write Saurabh and family, what I am trying to say? Your parents, your kids, your wife, anyone in the family is invited. That is exactly that role played by the constructor in a layman language to make you understand. I'll show you also live. Got it?
Yes.
Collection. Have you guys heard about collection? Collection is not a concept of Java. It's a concept of OOPS. What is collection? Right? See, if I have to store more than one value, how will I store, guys? If I have to store more than one value, what would be my approach to store the value? I'll use the
arrays.
Array, right? Arrays list, right? You would have heard about, guys, right? Arrays list, object, linked list, tuple. These are all collection. We don't have to use that much because we are not going to do development. We are just going to use for testing purpose. So maximum you will be using a dictionary, object map, and arrays list. I'm not going to use tuple, linked list, or maybe that. But these are all concept of collection, the data, more than. Then you guys would have heard about a concept called encapsulation. What is encapsulation, guys? Again, it's a concept of OOPS. It's nothing to do with Java. Okay, so if you guys have heard about encapsulation, great. But if you have not heard about, let me tell you, it's again a concept. Sometimes what happens is we do not focus on basic things, we focus on too technical, and that is where we lose the whole track. Okay, see, encapsulation is a concept coming from the same concept called, guys, you would have heard about capsule. Anyone? What comes in your mind when you hear the capsule? This concept is clear, your encapsulation is clear.
Actually hiding the data because we can't know about the details inside the capsule. What is that? Correct.
Same like a capsule medicine. You know that you have a capsule and then you have a tablet. Tablet has a one composition. Capsule has a multiple composition, right? What the medicine company is doing, they are hiding the composition from you. Because why should you bother about what is there in the capsule? Your purpose is to just have it. So encapsulation is nothing but a concept of hiding implementation from the users. Now question is why am I hiding? Anyone? What is the purpose of hiding?
Maybe to avoid unwanted changes.
Yeah, one is to avoid unwanted changes. Second is for the security purpose. Right? There are many reasons behind it. Everything has a purpose. We are not doing without purpose or reason. Right? See, you go to Playwright or any other tool. See, you have a function in Playwright .click. You have that is a great example of encapsulation. See, click, same function will work for button, link, text box. You want to click in text box, check box, radio button. See, click, everywhere. They have written the logic inside that, but they are hiding from it. The reason is why users should know about that what is written inside that. Your job is to use it. Understood, guys, everyone? So there could be a situation where you don't have to write encapsulation in your project. The reason is, remember again, I told you right, in testing, your code is getting consumed within the project. So if you remember yesterday or some other day someone asked that, how do I kind of preserve the password? Same concept. Why should I preserve the password? If I expose also, how does it matter? Anyway, my project member only is aware about that. But there is a way to do. Similar way, your encapsulation is for that purpose. Any method you have built or any function you have built and you don't want that method or function detail or description or information to be exposed, you can hide it. Okay, that's what is a concept called encapsulation. Fine, guys? Understood? Okay, one thing you would have understood. It is nothing to do with Java, it is nothing to do with TypeScript, it is nothing to do with C#. It's a programming concept. Everything. See, I am going to use a for loop. I'm going to use a conditional statement, if else. We have also if else. Where do we use else if else? In what kind of situation?
A conditional base to satisfy any condition.
Yeah, if I have a two condition only pass and fail, I'll go for if and else. But if I have a more than two condition, two pass and one fail or one pass and two fail, I'll go for else if. What if I have a more than three condition? Two or three pass and two and three fail, then what will I do?
For loop.
But for loop, if you use, you have to iterate lot. We'll use a switch case. You remember, guys? That is also one concept. Do you think it's a concept of Java? Do you think it's not there in the TypeScript or Python? It's there. You have heard about the do while loop or while loop, right? You know what is the difference between do while and do while loop?
Yeah, in do while usually the condition will come after performing the do operation. Then the condition will be checked. Wherein in the while, first the condition and then the output.
So do while loop is first condition will check and then do the while is until it, right? So see, what I'm trying to give you the message, everything has a purpose. But if you ask me personally, someone has asked me, I have a 5-6 condition, can I use if else if? Yes, you can use, there's nothing wrong. Yeah, it's a bad coding practice. Because if else has a performance issue. Switch case has a break statement. As soon as it will go, only check the particular condition and break and come. For loop, if else loop will keep going until it met the condition. But both has a different significance. Purpose, advantage, limitation. The only thing is we are talking about the clean coding policy. And these things are part of the clean code. You will see certain places I have used something like that. Okay, so people who are new to that word, by the way, it's nothing new, but yeah, just to many websites are there. I'm not suggesting any specific website for anyone who wanted to have a little brief knowledge around TypeScript, because you need to only understand what is different in TypeScript which you don't find in any other programming language. Only you need to focus there, and that concept is only 5%. So see here guys, that is where I have opened. I told you, right? TypeScript is a superset of JavaScript that add extra features like static typing, interface, enums and data types, many more concepts they have brought it. Got it? Otherwise, you are not going to find too many difference between the data types versus JavaScript. Sorry, TypeScript versus JavaScript. Example, look at here. If I am going to declare a variable, the difference is, if you are going to declare a variable in TypeScript, you have to say like this. First of all, to declare that, right, we have, we call as a, no, I'll just show you. Variables. Okay, so we have a 3 types of way to declare a variable. We have a let, const and var. That's what you'll see. Let, const. Each has a little difference, but in testing world again doesn't matter too much for you. Like example, if you look at the variable declaration, var is a function scope and can be lead to unexpected behavior due to posting. It is accessible throughout the function in which it is declared but has a function level. So if you want something like a very focused, then people don't go and say that okay, create as a var. Let provides the block level scope, meaning it is confined to the block, loop or condition, and in which it is declared. It helps prevent the redeclaration within the same. And const, similar to the let in terms of the scoping, const is used for the variable that should not be reassigned after the initial value. Like I declare one variable value, and without using it, I am redeclaring. That will not. So if you have that situation, then go for const. You do not have that situation, then go for var. But I told you, right? In testing, you will not get that kind of situation. Hardly you will get a situation where you have to do it. So the only focus area that you have to be, guys, is, or you need to know one thing, that if you are using a TypeScript, the difference that you are going to find, you have to say variable name and you have to say the type of the variable. But in JavaScript, you don't require to do this. Otherwise, most of the other things are common. Example. See, if you go to Java, we have a method concept. Method is also called as a function. We have the same concept in JavaScript or TypeScript. How do you create a method in Java? This is how you write code. You will say public void and then name of the method. And method can be declared in a two. One is void, one is without void. What is the difference between void and without void, guys?
Void will not return any value.
And non-void. So if any method which is going to return the output. See, my methods are two types. One which perform the action, that's all. And one which take the input, perform the action and return the output. So then you should not give void, you have to give a return type. That is the same concept in Java and TypeScript both. JavaScript does not have this concept, that's all. So if you have to create a function in JavaScript or TypeScript, this is how you do it. Function and name of the function. And then pass the argument. Just that you have to mention the argument. There are multiple ways to create a function. See, if I have a method which has to add a two number and then return, you all know that there is a return keyword. It is there in the Java also. Every return is a keyword, reserved keyword. And any programming language you go, you will find some reserved keyword. Okay? There is one more way to create a function. Okay guys, in JavaScript and TypeScript, and that we call as a arrow function. What is arrow function? See this. See, if I am writing here, I am not writing a function, I am directly saying, so arrow is another keyword and it's the latest concept. After 2015 in JavaScript there was a modification we call as a ES6, ECMA 6 script. There they have done some modification. So they brought this concept, arrow function. So you can also create like this one. See, that's what they say, arrow function in. So this is what we call as a arrow function. Arrow function in TypeScript are similar to the JavaScript, but allow you to add type annotation for parameter and return value. This is what is called ES6. It got updated in after 2015. This helps you to have a shorter and clear syntax. No need to write a keyword called function and then do it. Alternative of function keyword, write it. That's what they say. Okay, rest everything guys is same. Here also you have a class concept, inheritance. How do you create an object in the, every concept is same. Your arrays, right? So if you look at here, this is how you go and declare the array. So if I'm going to declare as a number, I'll say number and then if I'm going to declare in data types, you don't have JavaScript, you don't have to even say these things because JavaScript does not follow the data types concept. Okay. inheritance, you guys are already aware about that. Same extend keyword in Java also. Parent and child class, super or subclass. There is two more things you will hear, guys. This keyword and super keyword. Anyone? What is the difference between this keyword and super keyword?
If I have to utilize any value or a variable from within the class or a function, I can use this and utilize it. Super, I can inherit to different class with the same variable.
If you are inheriting
the 11, sorry.
Yes, if you are inheriting from your parent class anything and you wanted to use that, you will be referring as a super. And this means you are referring to your current class. Super means you are referring to your parent. That's why the name is said. This means current class. Super, my boss, on whom I am extending it. Okay? That's why they say super keyword is used to call a constructor of the parent class or to call the method of the parent. Okay, so yes, rest all concepts are absolutely common. You have something called for, of, you would have heard about the for loop, for each, for in, for of. See, this is where we have a one traditional for loop, for of, for in. See, whenever you are going to use the for loop, see, this is how you are going to, and we generally use for when we have we do not know the length. So we count the length and then iterate for that many times. That's what the traditional for loop. But we have another option, guys, which we call as a for of loop. This is highly used. And this is another type of for loop in TypeScript that works in a different way. It operates on any iterable object like arrays, list, objects, because values are fixed. You are aware about that. So this is how, suppose I am going to iterate over this. Here the values are fixed. So I'll just say like this: for let I is a variable of animals. Go to the animals array, take one by one, and then print. So here I don't need to know the length, or I don't need to count the length, because this is. So for of is the latest concept of after 2015. For in is the older concept before 2015. See, that's what they say. For in loop works in a similar way that a for of loop, but instead of assigning the array element to the iteration variable, the element indices are assigned. So the array elements or perform necessary operations that require index instead of array. So in that, indexing concept was more like in a picture. See? 0, 1, 2, 3. But if you are using for of loop, you don't have to do that. But almost doing the similar thing. Okay? Till here everyone is clear. Basically, only basic syntax difference you will find it, guys, when you are using the TypeScript or JavaScript, or even for that sake any language.
And also Vinay, there's one more advantage, right? Instead of using for in the while loop, most of the cases, you can use this inbuilt methods of filter, map, and reduce. That is one more advantage of the output.
Correct. You're right. But in testing, how does it matter? Can you explain me in a scenario? What you said is right.
Suppose I have an array list, I will have to pick up few of the data or specific precise data. Instead of iterating in the array list using for loop, I can just use a filter or map to just get that name and the value of it. So one line of a code where I can optimize rather, iterating it through and through until it matches.
Correct, like a key value pair kind of. Right?
Exactly. Yeah.
You're right. Depend upon data, depend upon scenarios. Yes, it definitely has a right advantage. And you will see that some places I'll be using where I have to just iterate through the data, then I don't require. I have to iterate based on the key value pair, then we'll map it. Okay, yes, you don't see this kind of things in Java, obviously. You have a for each, not the. So yeah, certain things you will find it different in specific language. That's what I said, 5%. But basic oops is going to be, you don't find too much of it. And that is exactly, you can see here guys, when I'm going to create a base test. So if you see here guys, I have created this base test.ts and here I have created one class, login logout page. And there is a keyword called export. I'm exporting that class so that I can able to call it in another. And what I have done is, again, this is not a mandatory aspects. The only thing is why I'm doing it, because purpose is clean coding policy. If I don't do, then also is fine. Like I have declared all these variable and I said these all variables are private and only the read one. We are not going to use this for any assigning the value. I mean to say for any writing, storing and all those, only reading them. But if I don't write this 2 line also, it's enough guys. It's okay. They will not go and tell you that no. But it's a good coding policy, good coding practice. It's security wise, other concern wise, it's good. Okay. And if you see here, page, the page is nothing but a call referring to your browser. And from where the page will come? The page will come from the test class when you are going to run the test. So that time when we call that, it has to call and come pass to the class, and the class, it will be automatically initialized inside my constructor. So this is how the constructor is a keyword. This is another difference. If you go to Java, in Java only you have to say the name of the class and create as a method name. It will behave like a constructor. Okay. But in JavaScript and TypeScript, you have to use a keyword called constructor. Fine guys? Okay, one more thing. Here I have declared all the variables and in front of the variable I am saying locator. Why locator? Because this is a concept given by the Playwright. So locators are the central piece of Playwright, auto weighting and retriability. Because they have a concept. I am trying to tell them that okay, hey, these are the variables which I have declared. It is a locator where I am going to store my object reference. Hence, if any object is taking time, please wait. And also keep retrying and checking whether that object has appeared on the page or not. So that's what it is. Very similar like Selenium. We have a guys one concept called page factory. Okay. Okay, then I'm going to go use this for the current, refer to the current object, this dot input username, and here is what I'm assigning all the my. Okay, this I have done for one of the other application. I might go and change it to, let me just create it for, we need all these 3. So this is for one application which is not working now. I want to create for Orange HRM. So I don't want to impact them. Hence, I am going to only add that here called O. O means Orange HRM. And I have to also define this variable name. And how I'm going to do? I'm going to do by using the get by placeholder. So I can replace this entire. Okay, so all the variables are declared. Now I'm going to write some common functions. So to write a common function, you remember I told all of you. Okay, you can use a function, you can use async, or you can use the arrow key. There are many ways you can do it, right? So I created here a couple of functions. First function is called verify URL. So I wanted to give a choice to my user that anyone who want to verify URL, they can just call this function. And that's what I am passing the argument here, which is a string, and written the logic here. See, you have a same concept in Selenium, but it's a little longer way. You have to say driver.get current URL, capture that into one variable, and then do assert true or to verify that, right? But here just that we have a function called to have URL ready. I have another function which I wrote called go to URL. But this I have written for this application where I have hard coded the value. If I don't want to write like this, I can also write one more, or I can say that go to URL. I should not URL app, and I don't want to hard code this value. So what I'll say here similar concept like this. Okay, and then I'll replace this saying that let's user pass that URL. I'll put them in the try catch block. In case the URL does not open, then throw the error, say that fail to navigate. Okay, I have written another function, log into app. This is written for the another application. Again, I can make another function for, in real time we don't do like this, but just for log into app Orange HRM. Okay, and only the difference is it should be all done with the O, right? O. Okay, and this is I'm doing for logout for one application, but when I'm going to do for logout from app Orange HRM, okay, it required two things, guys. See, because Orange HRM has a different approach. First is you have to go and click on this to log out. You all know that what I'm supposed to do. is no. You know that, right, guys, already? See, if you look at in the tab application, how we were doing it. First, we are going and clicking on this profile picture, then clicking on that because it is inside that. So same way I have to implement here. So I have already declared one variable here. Clicking on menu, this icon, and then clicking on this logout. So I'll just change it like that. I'll say here, await this dot icon dot click, and then go and click on that. We'll talk about this later. And I just put that under the try catch block. So all my method I have built it. Let me share with all of you. It should have a curly braces. I have not final curly braces. I'm lost. Yes, everyone take this method. Is complete. Put it in your base test where we have built this, and then you will see that going forward how we are not going to duplicate the code for login, log out, launch URL, verify URL, all those things. I'll be using a concept called calling them.
Vinay, can you ping that in the chat also?
Okay, and then let's take this script, where I'm going to do that. Any script, by the way, guys, you are already aware. So I'll copy that, paste it. I'll change the name. I'll say meaningful naming convention, easy to remember. I'll say orange HRM add unique user calling base class. And in this concept, what I'm supposed to do? AC. And I'm using this. Just check first. this is the function to verify URL, and this is the function login page dot login to what. With the function we have written login to app orange. Okay, and we need to pass the username and password and verify this URL. I have created an object of so look at here how I am doing it. First is base test. I have imported my class. This is my class in the base test login logout page. That's what I am importing here. And then I am creating an object of that class, passing here the browser reference, means page reference, so that it will go to constructor, initialize all the object, and then just calling this. Okay. This way I am not repeating the code. I am not duplicating the code. Everyone take this code for a script where I am writing that. Also I'll put it in the chat. And in this code, if all of you try to understand what I'm trying to do, before all concept, describe everything, just that I'm not repeating the code, I'm just calling that. Give a name called orange HRM add unique user, calling base class, that's how. So naming convention so that it will be easy for you to remember. Fine guys? Okay, if any questions, let's discuss tomorrow. We'll bind up here. Anyone was asking something?
Actually,
so your voice is too low. I'll be giving you all post training.
Okay.
Entire. Because purpose is to teach you this entire things and then give it to you. But yeah, please keep doing it guys. Don't ignore that doing this all the concept. It's not good to have all these things because that will help you as a reference. But yeah, the purpose of this during the training to understand, learn entire concept so that any project you have to implement, you'll be able to do it very easily and quickly.